Good evening, everybody, and welcome to F1 Tonight. We will be getting underway very shortly indeed. In the meantime, let's give you a little bit of a teaser with our Season 5 intro. This is F1 Tonight, Season 5. So, good evening, everybody, and welcome, as I say, to F1 Tonight. We are going to be getting underway in very shortly indeed, but in the meantime, let's have a quick look at the standings as they are. So, Drivers' Championship. Leading the way is Seb Bogart on 211 points. Second is Damie Hartman on 172. Third is Baz de Breen on 162. Fourth is Rob Muldrink on 119. Fifth, John Donkel on 112. Sixth, Nicky Visser, 85. 7, Marcel Dronig, 57. Then we've got some movers and shakers. So Peter Phillips is down in 9 on 50. Mark Stappers moves up to 8 on 52. And Zander Hermans to 10 on 41. 11, Guido Airshine on 37. 12, Marco Pullen, 35. Hans van der Berg down to 14. Martin Parder-Cooper down to 15. And Boy Williamson moves up to 13 on 31 points. Then we have Jamie Collane, 16. 17, Marcel France. 18, Miguel Torney. And 19, Kevin Van Delft. So let's wield a quick, well, not quick, but a fond and happy welcome to my co-commentator, Adrian, crackling away there.
Yeah, sorry about that. Having a few technical difficulties. Yeah, hi, good evening. Yes, glad to be here. Hope you're well.
Yep, not too bad at all. So this table's well, it was looking interesting last week, but it's looking somewhat more interesting now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's well, it's pretty close to the well, you've got a 40-point gap at the very top, but yeah, second and third, yeah, that's heating up nicely. Damien Hartman, of course, was leading the championship sort of early on in the season. He's had a bit of a battle with Bogart. Bogart's on a bit of a good run of form of late. I think he's won the last two.
Indeed, indeed, and we are 2/3 of the way through. It's race 14, only 7 races remaining. It is looking, as you say, quite tight. I mean, I don't know. I think Damien still has an opportunity to challenge Seb Bogart, depending on what happens, and anything can happen. Certainly, Baz de Breen is definitely pushing for that second place as well, though, isn't he?
Yeah,
And
yeah, he
possibly
is. I
even
mean,
first.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Don't count him out completely for the championship title because yeah, I mean we all know sort of how consistent he is in his drives, and you know we refer to him as the master of strategies and tire management and all those kinds of things that help win races. So yeah, he's definitely in there.
Yeah. Well, it's certainly looking interesting, and definitely a number of places that can still be taken. Let's have a quick look now at the Constructors' Championship. And leading the way, obviously, well, no great surprise there, really, is there, Adrian, with Renault leading the way there. They're on 274 points. Second is still Haas. They're there. They're now on 268 points. Third, we have Ferrari hanging in there on 192. Fourth, we have Sauber on 171. And fifth, we have Mercedes moving up to 116. Then we have Toro Rosso 91 and Force India 72, McLaren 48, Williams 48, and Red Bull on 7. Not a great season for Red Bull, but still in the Constructors' Championship, it's tightening up, isn't it, between Renault and Haas in a major way for
Yeah.
first, and you know, second and third, obviously there with Ferrari and Sauber as well.
Yeah, and also battles further down for sort of fifth place with the Mercedes
Yeah.
and Toro Rosso's pretty close as well. Yeah, very very tight at the top of the constructors championships. I mean, I did I called Renault for the constructors at the start of the season, but you know Haas are really sort of making moves up the in terms of their points, primarily due to Bogart, but Droning has been he's been a good wingman. He's been picking up some solid points for Haas as well.
Yeah, definitely, without any shadow of a doubt. Let's have a quick track now. Classic Monza, and an absolutely fantastic track. Very fast track, isn't it, Adrian?
Yeah, it's the fastest average speed on the calendar. I mean, I think it's about 138, 140 miles an hour average speed for a lap.
Wow, yeah, that's pretty fast, I'd say. So 11 corners, 3 sectors. First sector obviously starts in the start finish, takes us just down to before turn 4, the Variante della Regia. Apologies to any Italians listening. The second sector then takes us down to just before turn 8, the Ascari turns, and obviously the third sector then on the start finish. 2 DRS zones. First DRS detection zone is just before we get to turn 7, with the activation on the exit of 7 coming down towards 8, and the second detection zone is just before you get into Parabolica turn 11, and that activates after the start finish, takes you down to turn 1. Obviously we're going to expect incidents certainly on that first lap through Rettifilio and Regia as well, aren't we?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, certainly through Red video, as you say, and yeah, it's such a it's very difficult to get through those first 2 corners, that chicane, unscathed on the first lap. If you manage to do that, you're in with a real chance of being able to just pull away while the drivers behind battle it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, well, let's get into Q1 now. And let's quickly have a look here. There we go. And we're now into Q1. As you can see, the guys have already got started. So a little bit of news there. We've got, unfortunately, Miguel Torni. He's not going to be racing with us this evening. He's incurred 6 penalty points, which means that he's up for a disqualification. Rob Mouldring from Sauber has got a penalty, so he's had to come out on track and disqualify himself so he could effectively go to the back of the grid. So we are currently on board with Guido Airshine, and let's stay on there and get some info up.
Speaking of info, while we're watching I don't know if you're aware, Force India, they're in a real sort of bad run of form of late. I picked up only 2 championship points between the 2 drivers in the last 2 races.
Yeah, they're not having a great time of it at the moment, are they? To be fair.
Mm. Not really, no. Which is, it's disheartening slightly because they're both excellent drivers, and they deserve good points. Pretty much every race. But you know they're just not, just can't seem to kind of get their races together, to find themselves involved in incidents, and you know, and it just doesn't seem to go their way. They don't get the luck.
No, you know, obviously there is skill, but there is a certain element of luck, as you well know. But they just really, as you say, they just haven't been able to get it together, have they?
No, no. Hopefully, Monza will be you know, will be the change. Hopefully, can
Well,
turn it around here.
I mean, ultimately, you know, anything can happen, as we well know. But it is a tricky one. It has to be said. I do feel for them because they're both very competent drivers. There's no two ways about it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not even as if you can sort of, there's anything you can particularly sort of put your finger on as to, well, you know, maybe they need to look at
No.
this or do that. It's just one of those situations, unfortunately.
Yeah, yeah, it is, and yeah, like you said, you know, a lot of it is skill, but you know, there is a certain amount of luck involved in races, particularly on the opening laps. I mean, if both drivers can, as I said earlier on, just make it through the first lap really unscathed, they'll be in with such a big chance of some points because they
So
are
just
both very quick drivers.
just there with on board Marco Pullen, and he went onto the gravel there on the exit of turn 2 of Ascari. And yeah, as you say, it's just, I don't know, it is really difficult. It's a very difficult one to put your finger on. It really is.
Yeah.
Well, we got, I believe, let's just double check. Yeah, Miguel Torney is not in. John Russ is not in, and it looks like Jamie Collane is not in at this moment in time. So we're running with 17 drivers. Q1, we will go down to 15. So Rob Maldrink has disqualified himself. So that leaves one driver. And at this moment in time, we're just waiting for everyone to set their time. Super Soft is the preferential tyre, it seems, for this Q1 session. Bit odd, everyone's out on the Super Soft, so I'd expect a bit more of a mix there.
Not necessarily. It is only Q1, not Q2, so these tyres can just be yeah, just be used at will, you know, to some degree. Won't be
I've got
using
to
these
say,
in the race.
I would be. I mean, tyre allocation here is super soft, soft, and medium. I'm pretty sure it is, isn't it?
Yes, it is medium. Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, surely is there not any value in coming out in Q1 if you're one of the fastest set of drivers and on those mediums and just scrubbing those tyres for if you're going to need them during the race? Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, some drivers do like to do that, as I say, but particularly the sort of ones that are probably going to be top four, top five. They will come out on a slightly harder tyre in Q1. It's not uncommon, but I don't. You know, personally, I don't ever kind of expect drivers to do that. But you know, if they're comfortable enough to just scrub a harder set rather than wasting or using a softer set that they don't necessarily need, then yeah, then by all means they can do that. But yeah, I never actually expect it.
Yeah, got to say. But I mean, some good time. John Donker's just put in a 1:21.2. David
Damie Harmon
Hartman
as well, 21.3. Yep.
1:21.3. I've got to say, there's some pretty good times there. I would expect us though to get into the 1:19s, certainly
Would it,
further on into the Qs and the 1:18s, and I would expect.
yeah, yeah, they'll be up around there in Q3. Williamson's on a fast lap as well. I think he's going to go quicker than John Donkel for pole, well, for fastest time in this session, and he does 21.1.
Nice, look at that, Boy Williamson there, 21.1, so 10th faster than John Donkel. And I mean, it wasn't a great race, obviously, for Mercedes last week, but they did pick up some valuable points, didn't they?
Yep, yeah, they did indeed. Visser, I think he finished. Well, this is just from memory now. Fourth place was it for Visser?
Yeah, and Boy was up there as well. Boy, unfortunately, but yeah, I mean, he had a hard fight last week as well, didn't he? I mean, wasn't an easy race.
Really did. Yeah, he started way down in sort of 17th or whatever it was, wasn't it? And he was just fighting his way up to the. Oh no! He started fifth. Yeah, he started fifth.
Yeah.
Dropped tonight to about 17th. And yeah, and then fought his way back up to 5th, then dropped back down, and then fought his way back up, and then yeah, unfortunately, yeah, so had a bit of a mishap.
Yeah, but I mean, they're slowly getting there. I mean, these guys certainly have the capability, don't they? This Team Mercedes crew. It's just again, they're suffering a little bit from the same sort of situation. I think that maybe the Force India's done. They haven't had the best run of luck. It does seem somehow, I've got to say that, especially with Nicky Visser, he really does seem to sort of like not really get the luck of the draw quite often, does he?
No, that's right. Yeah, I mean, yeah, just every time I watch him, yeah, it does seem like he seems to be the most unlucky driver in F1 tonight. I remember the very first race I saw him in was, yeah, I mentioned it a few times, Hungary last season.
Yeah.
And leading the race, he comes in the pit, and Coastmasters put a great big wall across the pit
That
entrance.
is an unforgettable moment, it has to be said.
And then his current, I was going to say his current teammate, no, it's Damien Hartmore's it with the cat incident. Yeah, I mean, crazy things do happen.
Yeah.
And actually, so I need to correct myself. Just looking back at my notes, yeah, I said Will Williamson had a bit of a mishap. He didn't have a mishap. He got driver of the day, didn't he?
He did. Yeah, absolutely. And I've got to say, it's certainly well deserved. He really did come up through the field, started at the back of the pack, so he did a fantastic job there. So
Yes.
just having a look, see who hasn't set a time as yet. Peter Phillips, Seb Bogart is actually out on track at this moment in time, and how's
This has gone
looks like
third.
he's going for a fast lap.
He is. Earshline's just gone top 120.9. Fastest middle sector as well.
Oh, nice.
Bogart's lap is looking good, but not great. Although this is only Q1.
Yeah, exactly. That's the other thing you've got to bear in mind.
Yeah, there's a 10th down on both first and second sectors on Airshine.
So we are expecting
P4.
P4. You think what, for Bogart now?
Yeah, for Bogart. Can't believe I'm saying that, but that's that's what I'm looking at. No, he goes top.
He goes first. He makes
sector.
it up round Parabolica,
Wow.
doesn't he? On that exit of Parabolica, he really did make up some speed there. That's why I didn't say anything, because I was watching the time and I'm thinking, actually, I don't know. I didn't want to hedge my bets too much on that one, but fantastic run there from Seb Bogart.
Yeah, last sector was nearly 4/10 faster than Airshine, but as I said, lost a tenth in both the first and second, which a little bit worrying because worrying for the rest of the grid, because it means there's still more for him to put into that car.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Be interesting to see how that pans out. We're on board with Peter Phillips at this moment in time, still to set a time. But you know, Peter's been doing pretty well again in the actual drivers' championship. He's not had too bad a season at all, has he?
No, yeah, it's making some real headway now. He seems to got his mojo back, which which is good to see. And it looks like he's I mean, if he maintains this sort of rate of improvement, then I'll be very much looking forward to the start of next season for him, actually.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's very much in the midfield in P9 at this moment in time. He's on 50 championship points. Mark Stapper's just ahead of him on 52, and Marcel Dronig on 57. So he's got every opportunity to move even further up from that P9. I think, P7 is something that's achievable for him this season.
Yeah, absolutely. And, he probably wouldn't have thought that about himself at the start of the season, P7.
Well, he's put in a time now, puts himself in P13. That means that Kevin Van Delft is the man that's in the drop zone now.
This has gone top, by the way.
And he has. Look at that. Nicky Visser on 20.726. Oh, and Kevin Van Delft loses it on the second Variante del Regia there. Spins his car, getting back onto the track now. Oh dear, that is not what he wanted at all, is it?
No, it's not. Absolutely not. Kevin rocking the black helmet today, of course,
Indeed.
for a sort of real life colleague.
Yes, indeed. I believe, unfortunately, one of his colleagues suffered the very sad loss of one of their children. Don't have any further details than that, and as a mark of respect, Kevin Van Delft wearing the black helmet this evening, and our thoughts and condolences go out to the family concerned, certainly.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Kevin needs to get a rock on at this moment. He's set a 123.4. He needs to knock at least 6-7 tenths out of his time, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. Yeah. Just looking at his individual sectors, I
He's
would
into
have
the
to say
pits.
there's definitely room for improvement. Only 3 minutes left in this session. It's going to have to be fairly quick. Getting back out there. Still time.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's have a quick look at the guys at the top there. So Nicky Visser leading at this moment in time with a 120.7. Seb Bogart in the Haas, 120.8. Guido Airshine, 120.9. So all those top three within a couple of tenths of each other.
Yeah, that's exciting to see. Actually, it's you know, I know I said Bogart's still got room to improve, but that's not to say the other drivers also haven't got room to improve as well. So
well, to be fair,
yeah,
I mean,
it's
Damien
good that they are.
Hartman's currently P4, but he's only 4 tenths away. So
Yep.
and Boy Williamson 5 tenths. So it is, I mean, certainly top three very close, top five close indeed. So it's going to be interesting, as you quite rightly say, to see how that pans out. But we know that you know, let's not miscount certainly Baz Debreen. He tends to keep himself on a reasonably low profile, but then when the need comes, he's there.
Yeah, he generally does sort of enough to get through the session, and then in Q3 is where we see his sort of true times. One driver we haven't actually mentioned very much is Hans Vanderberg as well. I think he could be one to watch for Q3, potential pole sitter. I know he's very quick over one lap.
Yes, well, he's currently in the pits at this moment, but he's in that midfield on that 121.7. Yeah, I mean, he's certainly got the pace, hasn't he? There's no two ways about it. And this is a track, I think, that probably from a race point of view will actually quite suit him.
Yes. Yeah, because this is the type of circuit where you can go 100% of the of the time. You know, I know I don't do 100% racing myself. I do 50%, but even with sort of very worn tyres, you don't lose very much time because of these long straights. So as long as his ERS and fuel management is good. Well, actually, I'll say fuel management. The best thing to do is actually just massively overload the car with fuel and run rich for the majority of the race, because you'll save so much time versus what's lost by using lean fuel with and sort of a low fuel load.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, that is. I've never looked at that sort of plan of attack, but if you look at it logically for this circuit, it does make sense, doesn't it? Fuel up to the max, run the car high, and just go for it, because you've got every opportunity, as you say. I mean, that ERS management is important, but it's not so important. Well, I say not so important here. You can really build up that ERS quite a bit on this track, I think, and you can really let it loose.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's what it's going to come down to. I think the winner of this race, it's going to largely be good ERS management.
Absolutely. Well, Q3 is over, and in the drop zone is Kevin Van Delft for Williams. He'll be starting in P16. So he'll be in row 8. Rob Muldrink will be starting in P17 due to that penalty that he has. So he'll be starting there in 17. Miguel Tawney, John Muss and Jamie Collane, obviously not. Well, we knew Miguel Tawney wasn't in, but the McLaren driver's missing at this moment in time. Not too sure they'll be joining us later on. Not really a huge amount that we can glean from that queue, other than there's some guys that are pretty damn fast.
Well said. Yeah, I could not agree with that more. Yeah, yes, it's difficult in Q1, isn't it, to actually judge a driver's pace comparatively because a lot of the drivers, myself included, if you're quick enough and if you're fairly comfortable that you're going to get through Q1, you won't necessarily push as hard just to not risk crashing the car so early. So obviously, if you crash out in Q1, you can't participate in the rest of qualifying. So yeah, it's not a good enough idea of true pace for me at the moment.
Yeah, sorry, I was merrily talking away and didn't have had my mic muted. What I was going to say was, as I said at the beginning of the queue, the thing that I find a bit surprising is nobody in this queue has gone on to the harder tyres. They
Yeah,
were all
well,
on the
as I say,
softs
that's
all the way through, and I was
yeah,
expecting at least, sorry, the super softs. I was expecting at least a run on softs, very likely a mediums, but nobody went for it, did they?
no, I suppose not. But as I said, it is only Q1. Um, yeah, they probably not haven't got enough to gain from using the harder tyres. That's sort of my personal
Yeah.
view. I wouldn't go out on harder tyres in Q1.
Well, there you have Kevin Van Delft, as he said. Williams starting in row 8. Row 9 would be Rod Mouldering in P17, bringing up the rear, unless some others come in the meantime. So we're now going to go to Q2. Now, I definitely will expect to see the soft come into play here in this Q2. But that said, maybe it won't. Maybe, well, they're going to have to do a tyre change. We're looking at dry conditions for quali and for the race. So it's going to be optimum conditions.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, in terms of the tyre choices, I think we definitely will see the soft tyres, maybe even the mediums, because there's, as I said, because of the nature of the track with its long straights, there's not actually very much difference in terms of the lap times between the soft and the medium tyre, but the medium will last a lot longer than the soft.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those tracks where it does, it can work for you to go on to those mediums. Oh dear, and that force injure just
Yeah,
about
bit of an
getting
unsafe
out in
release
front
there.
of that Ferrari on the exit there. I was expecting a little bit of a collision there, but I think that's actually Marco Pullen. Yes, it is. So Marco Pullen out on track, nearly taking the nose off the Ferrari on that pit exit there.
Eddie, I'd just like to sort of clarify something for the viewers that you mentioned earlier on about Rob Bouldering sort of being, disqualifying himself, and Miguel Torni is previously disqualified from this race. Miguel Torni said he picked up his 6th penalty point, which means he's not allowed to participate in this race. It's effectively a race ban.
Yeah.
But for Rob Mouldering, I think it's his 3rd penalty point, which means he's not allowed to participate in qualifying, but will be able to race. It's just clarifying the difference between the two.
Yeah, he will be able to race, but he just won't be able to participate in qualifying. Has to start at the back of the grid, so that's his penalty is starting at the back of the grid.
Yes.
That said, didn't do Boy Williamson any harm last week.
It did not.
So, it can certainly... And I've got to say, this is one of the tracks where it's very possible. I mean, if I was Rob, I think it's pretty much what you said, really. Slap on the mediums, fuel her up, and go as deep as you can.
Yeah. And this is one of those drivers that, when I was talking about Vandenberg, you can just attack this track so hard for so long without any real sort of loss in lap times. And yeah, it's tire degradation I find is quite good. Even with very worn tires, you can still your lap times won't be far off of your ultimate pace.
Yeah, just we were on board there with Marco Pullen, obviously first man out, he's doing a fast lap. Again, he had a bit of a problem on that turn 2. Well, more really as he sort of comes around turn 1 on that Variante. And it is tricky braking down into high speed. You've got to get that angle really spot on through that chicane to get the right exit to lay down the power, haven't you?
Yeah, yeah, it's it's one of those corners, isn't it? Especially on a track like this where it is so fast and frantic. Yeah, it can just catch you out. But as long as you get a good rhythm going, I think the majority of drivers should be fine here. To be honest, Mark Stappers, by the way, is on a very fast lap, or judging by his first sector. Second sector's not so good. Still going to be quite a good lap. Donkel goes top though, the 21.3.
21.3. We did see the 20s, remember, in the previous queue, and I certainly expect those to be duplicated here. Stapper's not taking Parabolica too well there. That's he suffered there, definitely. But that puts him up into P2 at this moment in time.
Only half a second off.
So that's 121.8. Nicky Visser takes that place back with a 121.5. Steps down to 3. Zander Hermans 4 with a 122.0. Looks like one of the Force Indias going off track there, actually. Yeah, and that's Marco Pullen. He's really not getting these varianti. Well, I don't know what he's like between 4 and 5, but certainly 1 and 2. He seemed to have a bit of a problem on turn 6. Lesmo as well. Is that because he's?
Yeah.
That would suggest to me that he's got that downforce dialed right down, hasn't he?
Yeah, we should find most of the drivers will have that. Guido Ehrstein just put in a 1:32. That is not a true lap time because his first sector was actually purple, and I think he must have come a cropper at some point in sector 2. Yeah, because he's some 6 seconds off. So I just wonder what happened to him. I'm expecting Ehrstein to be front row in this qualifying session.
Yeah, Ershein's been...
Sander Hermans, though. Sorry, Eddie. Sander Hermans, I think he's going to go top.
Really? Oh, wow. Okay, so...
And he does.
Yeah, look at that. 121.2. So lovely run there from Toro Rosso driver, Sander Hermans.
Wasn't even his best third sector.
Wow. So good run there, certainly from him. Taking the scenic route through the first variante there.
Hartman's fastest man out there at the moment. He might topple Hermans, or he might actually split. He might split Hermans and Donkel.
Jamie Hartman coming around Parabolica now.
3 tenths slower than Hermans, though.
I'm saying that's going to be a 120 actually, Adrian.
Could be 2 tenths up and 3 tenths down, and he's top. 21.1.
121.1. So
again, that wasn't
good run there.
That wasn't his best last sector either.
No. So still more to come. Just under 9 minutes remaining on this. The interesting one I've got there though is Nicky Visser, because he's gone out on he set that time on the softs. Still on those softs, a 121.5. I've got to say that's pretty respectable, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I mean. There's not very much difference between the compounds in terms of their lap times, but there's a lot of difference in terms of their wear. This is an improvement for him. I think he's going to go second. He goes first.
Look at that, 121.0. And on a set of softs, I've got to say that's pretty respectable.
I'd say that's a bit more than respectable. I think that is very impressive.
I mean, bearing in mind,
again,
we were looking at 120. Was it 120.7 on the super softs in Q1, wasn't it? I think.
Yes. Yep.
So yes, very interesting.
Bogart's still yet to set a lap. He has gone out. But he's come back in on his sort of hot lap, so he didn't actually cross the line.
He's coming out now onto the track, and he's actually gone on to... Yeah, he's got the yellows on. So it's important for him really to get into that 10 now, because obviously Q2, we're going from the 15 down to 10 drivers. And the important thing here is that those top 10 drivers will have to start the race on the tyre, which they set. Oh, Bogart getting a little bit offline there out of turn 5. Manages to get it back. That was a close call, wasn't it, Adrian?
It was a bit, wasn't it? I think we'll put that down to cold tyres. He was just left the pit, desperately trying to get some heat into them.
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly what he needs to do.
Dronig looking to improve his lap. He's just gone P12, but this is a faster lap for him at the moment.
So Marcel Dronig now coming up through Ascari. I said Ascari earlier on, I'm the first Varianti, but I was talking to someone else, but there you go. Marcel Dronig.
The slowest second sector. I wonder if he's going to bail, actually. He's still got the ERS up, so I'd say he's going to try it. No, he's in. He's coming in.
Yeah, he's coming into the pits. Decided to call that one off there. So at this moment in time, in the drop zone, we have Baz de Breen. Wouldn't expect him to be there for too long, but he didn't have a great queue, if I remember, last week either, did he? He didn't seem to be able to quite get it together. I don't know if I'm sort of getting it wrong or not, but I know that he's...
Yeah, if I remember correctly, both the Renaults
That's right, yeah,
at the last race.
So he's down in P11 at this moment in time. P12, Marcel Dronig is in the pits as we saw. Marco Pullen is out on track for Force India. And he's dropped down to 14, so somebody's come in and set times. Some times being set now. So Marco Pullen is now P11. John Donkel's gone up to P4. Baz de Breen is in 13. Martin Pardecoop at 12. Dronig is 14. And Seb Bogart 15. And not set a time as yet. I think that's going to change.
He's about to. Yeah, he's about to. This will be top 3. He's not actually faster than Visser in the second sector. It's actually 3 tenths down on him. P5.
So 121.3 puts him in P5.
Or P6 now. De Breen's gone up as well. De Breen's third.
Expect a bit more there, wouldn't he? But he's through.
Yeah.
He's through. I mean, this is the thing. And to be fair, we've still got under 5 minutes remaining. So I think these times can easily be beaten anyway. But he's out there on the softs. Now, comparing that time to Nicky Visser's, you're only looking at 3 tenths basically, aren't you? Well, bang on 3 tenths actually.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Yeah. I mean, that's got to be his target. Obviously this is the only other one on the same tyre as him, so he's only got him to compare himself with. But yeah, I mean, but 3 tenths is still 3 tenths. To be fair,
yeah.
I think Visser might be one to watch in the race itself.
Well, let's hope it runs better for him than some previous outings that he's had this season. He certainly deserves, I think, a good win. And I think Monza's a track that's suiting well. But as we said earlier, I think this is certainly Zander Hermans I expect to do well here. Because, again, I think that would be a good track for him. And as you quite rightly pointed out as well, Hans van der Berg, although saying that, he's down in P14 at the moment, 122. He seems to be struggling a bit, doesn't he?
Yeah, not for much longer. He's about to improve his time. He's looking at sort of mid top 10. I think he might be just ahead of Bogard. Obviously going to push Bogard down. I don't know if he'd be worried about that. No, just under Bogard. P7.
Yeah. So he's P7 there with a 121.5. So he's
pushes
got back
Pullen
up
out
there. That's now pushed Pullen back into P11 again. Strapper's in 12. Williamson in 13. He's on his outlap at this moment. Parder Cooper down in 14 and Dronig 15. So there's still some guys that could bring a few surprises, aren't there? That's the thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I've just got my eye on the Ferrari man actually, Parder Cooper at the moment. He's had a few goes at his lap. I don't know whether he's just not really gelling with this circuit too much. We'll see how he does in this opening sector of what's got to be one of his final laps.
Yeah, just two not many. He loses it out of 4 into 5 there, and that's second Varianti. I mean, it is tricky. Again, the secret with these Variantis is the entry into that chicane, isn't it? That's if you can crack the entry.
Yeah.
Then that's the job basically done, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I think you're 90% there if you can get that bit right. But if you don't, it's really difficult to recover. Someone who's not having any difficulty though is Hermans because he's about to go fastest again.
Wow, so he has. Look at this.
And that is considerably faster than anyone else.
That is, I've got to say, pretty impressive there from Zander Hermans. He's really pulling it together, isn't he, this season? And his qualifying has improved hand over fist. He's racing as well. And we've seen him do this, though, in a number of Q2s recently. He's really set some blinding times, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's good. He's really, really good on the one that pace. It does seem to be improving quite a lot. Damien Hartman's just gone top. I don't know if you spotted that, 20.6. And Erschein's on a really fast lap as well. Purple first sector. He's although he's 3/10 off on the middle sector. Didn't quite get that right, but it's going to be good. I think he's going to be front row.
Well, let's have a look now. Where are we? Guido Erschein? No. He goes into P5 at this moment in time. So just under a minute remaining. Damien Hartman leads with a 120.685. Zander Hermans second with 120.746. Nicky Visser in the 121s, but 121.092. Baz de Breen 121.2. Guido Erschein 121.2. John Donkel 121.3. Seb Bogart 121.3, pushing on to 4. Hans van der Berg 121.5. Marcel France 121.6. Peter Phillips 121.6. I mean, there is so little between, 5th and 10th, certainly, isn't it? I mean, it is, literally, 2 or 3 tenths. It's pretty impressive. They are really very, very close. But you say, even 1/10 is, a mile on this track, really, isn't it? Because it is such a fast track. It is.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Williamson's found himself in a bit of trouble, by the way. He's only 3 seconds of the session actually remaining.
He's not going to make it.
It's not a great time. Well, this is his hot lap. Hopefully, it will get him up there.
Yeah, puts him into P3.
He still manages. You know what? I hate it when that happens because he's got 2 white sectors, which means they were both slower. And then when I start talking about that, he does a purple third sector and gets the 21.0.
Well, maybe you ought to talk about it a bit more. I think Boy might appreciate that. So he sneaks in there, doesn't he, Boy? Gets up into that P3. So good run from him. But let's have a quick look at the drop zone. So at the moment, Parder Cooper, well, he's on a lap now. I don't know how that's looking on his sector. He's given out. Yeah, he's given up on it. So Parder Cooper will be starting. Yeah, row 8.
Oh, is that 15? Fuel?
I think he's run out of fuel, actually.
Yeah.
So he'll be starting row 8, P15. Marcel Dronig in the Haas, surprisingly, starting P14, row 7 there. Marco Pullen in the Force unit will be alongside him in P13. Row 6 will be Peter Phillips in the Toro Rosso, and alongside him will be Hans van der Berg. I think he was expected to be a little bit further up there, wasn't he? He's got knocked out now.
Yeah, that surprised me. That has surprised me from Hans, but I mean, what is he, a second down and 9/10 down on the pole time? I mean, he only needed to improve a 10th on that, and he would have been through to Q3. So it's a little bit harsh to be out of the qualifying.
It is one of those gutting moments, but as we said, a 10th on this track is is big, basically. So so he gets start there in row 6, P11. But I'd expect him to come through pretty sharpish, to be honest with you. But it all depends. I mean, these last 5 guys, they've now got a tyre choice. So the strategy now comes very much into play as to what they're actually going to go to start this race with, because they do have a free choice.
Yeah, and you have to wonder whether, are they more likely to go with the harder, the medium tyre, because as I said earlier on, there's not actually very much loss of grip in comparison to the softer tyres, and they last so much longer as well.
Yeah, they do. It makes a hell of a difference. And it's going to be interesting to see how they actually work on that. And I expect some of those guys certainly to go onto that option. Marcel France makes it in, obviously, for Red Bull into that top 10. Important, I think, there for Marcel to get into that Q3, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. It's yeah, yeah, it's really good that he's got through. Obviously, his teammate, banned from this race, so it's only him able to score the points for Red Bull, who I believe are bottom of the standings at the moment.
They
It's,
are, but
7
bottom
or 8
of
points, is it?
constructors, and as well. Unfortunately, drivers' championship for them not going fantastically well this year. But well, that is the way. Unfortunately, some seasons run. There's not an awful lot you can do about it, really. It's the luck of the draw, isn't it?
No. Yeah, no, that's quite right. But as you said, Francois is into Q3, so he'll have a shot at the pole, and hopefully he can do his best to score some points for Red Bull.
Right, so I'm going to call it early, but who do you think is going to take that pole position, Adrian? Let's call it now, before Q3 starts.
I thought it was going to be quite easy earlier on, as I sort of alluded to Visser's pace on the soft tyre.
Yeah.
But having said that, Hartmann is quick. Bogard as well. I know he qualified. Well, didn't qualify. He was 9th in that session. Perhaps cutting it a little bit fine.
Pick one.
Well, I don't. What I'm saying is, I don't think it's going to be Bogard. Surprisingly, I'll go with Damien Hartmann for pole position.
I was going to go. I've got to be fair. I was actually going to go for Damien myself, but I'm actually going to go.
You can go for the same one.
I'm going to go for no. Can't do that. What's the interest in that? No, I'm actually going to go with Sander Hermans.
Yeah, that could be a good call. That could be a very. He's a bit of a dark horse, isn't he?
He is. So,
just comes out of the blue with these blistering laps.
So first man out on track, Guido Airshine for Force India, and this is the one now that counts. I'd expect everyone obviously to be on the super softs as they are, so won't keep that selected. We'll just keep up the lap data. So yeah, I'm going for Sander Hermans. Damien Hartmann, I've got to say, is a good shout. I think Damien's looking very strong here. Obviously home ground for Ferrari.
Yep. Absolutely, and he'll be wanting to impress the Tifosi.
Indeed. Well, they are ones that need impressing, certainly in the real world at this moment in time, that's for sure.
Yeah, big time.
So we'll see if maybe Damien can wave the flag.
I think it's important for Damien to well, it's always important for him to win the race, but it's especially important to win here, just to halt the momentum that Seb Bogard has gained over the last couple of races. As I said, he was sort of 1-2 back-to-back.
Yeah, boy, he's ahead by 39 points of Damien at this moment in time. So, have I done that right? Yeah, 28. Yeah, 39 points at this moment in time. So, that's a win and a half, basically. Obviously, Damien did not participate, and I think that due to circumstances, I think it was 2 races he didn't participate in, wasn't it? Or was it certainly 1?
Yeah, I think it was 1.
It was 1, but yeah, it certainly gave Bogart the opportunity to move up, hasn't it? And he's, as I say, 39 points ahead at the moment. What would be the ideal situation for Damien here is for him to win and Bogart to DNF, really.
Yeah, he needs something like that. But I mean, if he wins and Bogart finishes second, I think he'll still be happy with that, because, as I said, it will at least sort of do a little bit to curb that momentum.
Absolutely. So we've got 9 minutes remaining. This is F1 tonight. As you can see along the top there, it is season 5, race 14, and we are here at Monza in Italia, Circuito Nazionale, as our Italian counterparts might say, or in this case, very well might not. So, this is the one that counts. This is Q3. This will decide the top 10 positions for the start of this grid. Ideal conditions here at Monza at this moment in time, and looking so for the race as well. It's going to be a hard one, but it's certainly going to be very fast. There's going to be a lot of action, as I say, and it's going to be it's going to be very interesting through that first variante and second variante, I think.
Yes.
That's the one I'm going to be looking for.
Yeah, that's where you're going to find the instant sort of mid race as well, as the tyres do wear out, especially the rears.
Well, we've seen the opening time set there. Guido Eschon setting that 1:21.6, Nicky Visser 1:21.4, John Donkel a 1:20.981, and Seb Bogart a 1:20.759. I think Seb heard you there and thought, "What are you talking about, Adrian? Let's show you what I'm gonna do."
Yeah, a bit of sandbagging, I suppose, in Q2, wasn't it, from Seb, saving the tyres for the race. Obviously, wasn't pushing them too hard then in Q2. But you know, there's still 7 minutes of this session left, and it's good to see Donko as well. He's inside the 1:21 mark for the first time today.
Yeah, it is. He's up there. Well, he got into that Q3, which was certainly very important for him, wasn't it? Let's be fair. He needed to get in there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, both you know, Renault's top of the constructors at the moment, but only by 6 points. So you know, it's like a slight blessing. Or as I say, that Damien Hartman's just gone fastest. Only 1/100th of a second faster than
Look at
Bogart.
that, 1/100th indeed. He bang on actually. I'm just on board with Marcel France at this moment in time, and he's looking pretty respectable. He's got up into that P6, was P5 before Damien put that blinding time in, but not looking too bad at this moment in time, is he?
No. I think I think that time will be beaten. Whether it will be by someone else or by himself remains to be seen. Just going back to the Renault in the Constructors' Championship, I think they'll be both drivers will be pleased. You know, as much as we love Marcel Droni, they'll be pleased that he's not in this session, because it means that they can, you know, they've got more of a chance of pulling away from Haas, whereas they're only 6 points behind them in the Constructors.
Yeah, that is very true indeed. That is quite important for them at this moment in time. And we're still waiting for Mark Stappers, and Baz de Breen hasn't even come out. He's still in the pit. So Mark Stappers is out on track at this moment in time. And he's done well up into this Q3 session as well. We do see him up here quite often, but it's just getting it together on the races, isn't it? He's still not quite there yet, is he?
No, but he's always moving in the right direction. Yeah, and as you say, he's pretty much always in Q3, and occasionally he's you know, in sort of the top 5. We've seen him qualify third. I think he did that 3 times in a row earlier on in the season. But yeah, it's just the race part of his race, especially the first phase of the race. Yeah, things just don't seem to go his way, or you know, he can't warm up the tyres quite enough quite as much as the other drivers, and they just have that edge on him in the opening phase. You know, maintains his pace well enough sort of in the mid and the latter phases of the race. As I say, just that first part, it's not quite there.
No, it doesn't seem to quite work for him somehow. But well, let's see what we can do there.
P5.
And oh, look at that, 1:21.2. We've got to talk about these people more often, you know, because every time we do, they seem to improve. Have you noticed that?
I have, yeah. Ershine, by the way, I think he's about to go. Is he third? No, because that. What happened there? Oh, that was his outlap. Sorry.
Oh, that's
showing me as it wasn't an outlap on my telemetry, but it was, even though it was an outlap.
I'll believe you, Adrian. Thousands wouldn't, but you know, I will. I have faith in you.
Steffers looked like he was going for another lap then as well. He had a very good first sector, but he's just invalidated and is slowing the car down. He should be coming into the pit this lap just to refuel. Oh, Bogard has beaten his personal best first sector and is a purple second sector. Expect this to topple Damien. Trying to find out by how much.
He's coming round now.
Oh, it's going to be about half a second quicker, I think.
Oh, look at that, a 120.3. That is, well, basically 4 tenths, effectively, really, isn't it? That's it.
Yeah.
So Seb Bogart,
yeah, that's pretty good.
Comes back in there, takes that P1 position from Damien quite convincingly, I've got to say, 4 tenths.
Yeah, I don't know where he's pulled that from, but it's it's the best lap we've obviously the best lap we've seen so far.
Baz de Breen's still not out of the pits, and only 2 minutes remaining. Are we seeing some sort of issue here? Do you think with the Renault driver? It's got to be, surely.
I don't. Oh, is he coming out now?
No, that's Red Bull of Marcel France.
I did wonder if he was waiting for the track to sort of get that bit a bit more rubber down on the track before he did actually do his lap. Might have an issue.
It could well have some sort of technical issue there, but can't see any reports of that at this moment in time.
Just while we were talking about Baz, Stappers actually went purple in the first sector, but then went off track or cut a corner because he just invalidated. So he's showing some real sort of promise of pace, but yeah, just can't hold it together.
Well, this is looking pretty good at this moment in time. Seb Bogart, just under 2 minutes remaining. He is leading the way. He's coming out of the pits now, actually, so it looks like he's going to go for another run there. Damien Hartman coming around Parabolica now, but I don't know, it's looking good. It is fast. What can Damien Hartman do? Oh, 120.7 doesn't beat his time. He was actually a tenth slower than his previous best there. That's 120.749. So he's got one more run at it, effectively, hasn't he? Seb Bogart is in the pits. Boy Williamson is out on track just ahead of Damien Hartman. John Donkel is out. He's happy with that P4, should it remain that way. Zander Herman's P5. Mark Stappers in the pits. He's going to go P6 at least. Nicky Visser is out on track at this moment in time.
This is on a purple first sector.
Wow.
A tenth faster than Bogart.
So Nicky Visser could well be looking to take this pole now right on the knockers, and it's not unusual to see this at the end of this Q3 session. The times seem to come tumbling.
Middle sector's a tenth down. He's going to be very close to his time. Certainly front row.
Let's have a look at this now. Oh, a 120.2. He takes that P1 position. Nicky Visser for Mercedes pips it at that post.
I did say it wouldn't be Bogart. Does that count?
Well, no, it doesn't. I'm afraid not. But what a fantastic run there from Nicky Visser. Really was, wasn't it? Great run there.
Yeah, I should never have doubted him, to be fair. He did, yeah. It was the last lap of the session, wasn't it?
Well, they've still obviously got the guys out on track that look at that. And Seb Bogart, he's going to be kicking himself now, isn't
he? Yeah. He undoubtedly thought he'd done enough. Sander Hermans as well, P3. Best qualifying of the season for him.
Yeah, I've got to say, that is fantastic. He's put in that time there right at the end. He was actually a little bit further down the field, but yeah, I mean, great run from him, certainly. No two ways about it.
Yeah, he's going to be an exciting one to watch in the coming race.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see how he actually does there, definitely.
And of course, Rob Mulderink, who hasn't participated in this qualifying session, we're starting at the back. He's always an exciting driver.
Yes, yeah, it's going to be what's he going to do effectively, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I wonder whether we've talked about his maturity improving, his race maturity just improving, and he's able to sort of just manage himself a lot more than he did last season. Yeah, I wonder if he is going to be able to sort of maintain that kind of mentality in the opening phase with so many drivers ahead of him.
Well,
it's all about sort of pacing yourself, but still being competitive.
Well, this is it. This is the one that's going to tell. I mean, the thing is, ultimately, at the end of the day, what I'm looking at here is that Nicky Visser and Seb Bogart are both starting on the soft tyres, and they're both in the front row. Everyone else is on the super softs.
That's a really good good observation there. Yeah, both of those drivers on the middle tyre.
So
it's
they're going to
absolutely their
really, I
advantage.
mean, they're going to have to go, not only are they going to have to go aggressive, but they're also going to have to go defensive, because surely those super softs will have the advantage on that first lap, and especially into, you know, the first and second Variante.
Well, this comes back to sort of what I was saying earlier on about the difference in the grip levels of the two tires not actually being as much as it is normally in other races.
Yeah.
So I don't think they'll be at as a big a disadvantage being on the harder compounds as they would have been, and of course being at the front, it's their race to dictate.
Yeah, that is true, but it's a bit of a run down to that first and second turn, that chicane of Variante there. It's yeah. I'm
Yeah,
sort of like, yeah, it's going to be sort
it's
of like deep, sharp intake of breath, because you're going to be seeing 3-4 cars abreast trying to go through that chicane. That it is a given.
Yeah, a lot of sort of where they find themselves after that chicane is going to come down to their actual launch off the grid. If they can do a sort of competent enough formation lap and get the heat into those rear tires and nail the start, I think they'll be safe. But anything worse, anything less than a brilliant start is going to give the drivers behind them that opportunity.
Yeah, well, drivers are now getting ready for the start of this race, getting their strategy calls, pits, etc. programmed in, tyres. Obviously, they can't make any changes, or they can make some subtle changes to the setup of the car, brake balance, etc. But that's about it. And I think front wing they can adjust.
Front wing,
rear wing, yeah, rear wing is set. So we're expecting obviously low downforce, a lot of high speed here. Watch out for the guys towards the back. We're expecting a number of the runners and riders to be on those medium tyres, as we've just been discussing. So, well, we saw last week, obviously, Boy doing a fantastic finish coming right from the back. And if any track's going to be able to do it, it's going to be this one, that's for sure.
Yep. It's kind of the opposite of Monaco, isn't it? There's so much overtaking possible at Monza. Just, I mean, it's 3 DRS straights.
Yeah, indeed. So there we have P1, Nicky Visser, front row. He'll be starting there. Then we have Seb Bogart starting behind him, or not behind him, sorry, alongside him in the Haas, row 1. Row 2, Sander Hermans P3. Alongside him, Boy Williamson for Mercedes. Then we have Damie Hartman for Ferrari, row 3. Alongside him will be John Donkel for Renault. So he's in P6. Watch Jonah, definitely a man to watch. No discount him. Then we have Mark Stappers, row 4, P7. Alongside him will be Marcel France in the Red Bull. Then we have row 5, Guido Airshine. And alongside Guido will be Baz de Breen. So not too sure what happened there. He is running on the softs though, so he's going to be looking to try and charge through, isn't
he? Yeah. I think there must have been some kind of connection issue or something preventing him from participating in Q3. He was in the session as far as I saw. But he's got some work on his hands now. What to do?
Yeah, indeed, he certainly will have. We have Marco Pullen, P13.
Moldrick is on the soft tyres
in P14. Martin Parder Cooper will be in P15. And Kevin Van Delft bringing up the rear there. No Jamie Collane. And obviously no Rob Mouldering there. So let's get back up to the front now. They're getting underway. Lights are on. And we are off for the start of this Italian Grand Prix. Nicky Visser getting a good start there by the looks of it. And look at this, Boy Williamson trying to get through the gap there. The Ferrari dropping back. Oh my goodness, Damie Hartman drops down to P4. The Ferraris are the Mercedes take the lead. Seb Bogart's moved up into P1. Nicky Visser P2. Damie Hartman's in P3. Zander Hermans is in P4. Boy Williamson is P5. So Damie Hartman wins there, comes up 2. Seb Bogart up 1. Nicky Visser down 1. Marcel France up 1, John Donkel stays where he is, Mark Stappers is down 1. But so far, everyone getting through, it looks like.
Yeah, it looks like everyone's survived turn 1. Brilliant start from Damie Hartman. What a start off the line that was. Put himself up to P3 from fifth. Further in the back as well, Mouldering up to 14th from 17th.
Yeah, so Mouldering already charging through 3 places there before the end of this first lap. Nicky Visser hot on the heels, but look at this, Damie Hartman right on the back of Nicky Visser. And he's making the move as they're coming into Parabolica, makes it stick, gets the move done.
Yeah, looked easy, didn't it?
Well, as I say, those super softs, this is the thing I was saying. I just think they haven't got the speed, and Seb Bogart looking to try and break any toe that Damie might have in him. But look at the speed of that Ferrari. Seb's got to go in and go defensive now. He can't afford to go off to the side of the track.
Yeah, obviously the biggest advantage on the for the super soft tyre it will be in these opening laps. Because the heat will just get into the tyre that much quicker. Mouldering gets a 3-second penalty already. We're not even 1 lap done yet. Bastabreen's in the pit, by the way. I don't know if there was an incident.
Yeah, he is in the pits. He's stayed on the super softs. It looks like he may have had a nose change actually. So I don't know what happened there. That could have been in that little scuffle just off the start line as they were coming down towards the first Variante. There may have been some contact.
Oh, there is contact in the back, by the way. It's Mouldering and Pullen.
Yeah,
they're coming together.
Yeah, and that looks like that was through the second Variante there, I think. Oh, dearie me. And Mouldering is suffering. He's got some severe damage there on his car. I'm just trying to see.
He can't turn in.
He's got some real damage on there. Marco Pullen is trying to get past him, but Rob's not making it easy for him, even though he's got that damage, is he? Look at this. As they're coming into Ascari, he's not going to get him go, is he? He's gonna get a penalty point. 3 seconds there, definitely going off.
It's like trying to turn a boat.
He's just not able to do it. I mean, he's not. There's nothing to be gained by this because he's going to lose it around Parabolica. Is he going to come in? Yeah, he's gone right off there. Is he going to come in though? That's the thing. He's got to come in. And they're both coming in.
Teammates behind him. Sorry,
yeah, they're both coming in.
Vanderberg and Van Delft in. Yeah.
So there obviously was some sort of coming together by a number of cars there. Hans Vanderberg and Kevin Van Delft in. So double stacking there for Williams. Not ideal, but Hans Vanderberg does get out ahead. He's dropped down 2 positions now. 3 positions.
So we've got Sauber stopped on the track. Dangerous position. I'm surprised there's not a safety car for that. It's just after it's like turn 3.
Yeah. No, he's off. It's Mark Stappers. He's actually back on now, and he's coming round Variante. So he managed to get control back of the car, and he's back round Variante now. So certainly a lot happening towards the back of the field and the midfield there, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was. Yeah, it was just as we said. Everyone's made it through unscathed, and in the second phase of the opening portion, we just had a few incidents. Hartman is looking at the overtake on Bogart.
Right, so let's have a look at that.
Bogart not defending.
No, he's not. Hartman. Bogart just slips in behind him there. But he can afford to do that as long as he stays, because again, Damie's on those super softs. He's going to have to pit before either Seb or Nicky. So
safety car ready. Sorry,
safety car is out. Yeah, safety car is out.
That's
And
for
that
Van
looks like
Delft.
it's Kevin Van Delft. So I don't know where that was. What sector? Let's go on board with Damien Hartman. See if we can see yellows being waved here as they're coming up to turns 4, 5, second variante.
Stappers pitting
Oh
under
yeah,
the safety
there's
car.
got to be damage there on the left-hand side there. A lot of barrier damage, barriers sticking out there. So I'm wondering if that's the section where it was. As we're coming round Lesmar, nothing there. Yellow flag still being waved, obviously, because safety car is out. But I've got a feeling it was on the second variante there, because there was a lot of damage to the barriers on the left-hand side, Adrian.
Yes, yeah, that's good. Good observation again there. Yeah, I think that's exactly what's happened. Mouldering could be pleased with his safety car, by the way.
He will, because this is going to bunch everybody up now, isn't it?
Yeah, De Bruyne as well. He had to pit at the end of lap 1. He'll be really pleased that there is a safety car.
So this has definitely mixed it up now, hasn't it? Because all these cars will be coming together now.
Because you've got, at the moment, you've got the likes of Peter Phillips, Marcel Dronig, and Martin Paardekoper, all have gained significant places. And now this safety car is going to, as you say, bunch everyone up. Paardekoper was actually in the pit. Yeah, and he was speeding in the pit lane. That's a 5-second stop go.
Oh no! He picks up a 5-second stop go for that. And Damien Hartman's just caught up now with the safety car as they're coming round the Curva Grande, turn 3. So they're going to start backing up now. But I mean, this is a great opportunity for Nicky to try and get that place back, isn't it? He does need to push now, doesn't he? This is the time that he needs to push.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he won't want the safety car for too long because these soft tyres don't typically retain the heat for very long. These low speeds, not quite so much as the super soft tyre does.
Yeah, but Nicky's definitely this is important for him. He needs to make this move on track, and he needs to, at the very least, get ahead of Seb Bogart.
Yes.
He's got his
which is doable.
It is definitely doable. He's got his teammate behind him as well, Boy Williamson. No team orders as far as I'm aware. We haven't certainly seen any in the past, but you know, this could help. You never know. He's behind him actually on a set of super soft, so this could come into play. I don't know what you think on that.
Yeah, I mean, well, you mentioned team orders. It's not really playing a part. We have seen them a couple of times with the Renaults. Of course, Renault's the top of the constructors at the moment.
Yeah.
I think even if there aren't team orders, I think the fact that Williamson is there will protect Visser from Donkel's attack.
Yeah, that is very true, because ultimately, at the end of the day, he has got Donkel behind him, and he's not going to be hanging about, is he? I mean, Donkel's in P5. He's moved up one, started in P6, but he's going to be looking to get the pressure down because his teammate's down in P12 at this moment in time.
Yeah, although De Bruyne has now caught up the back of this train, so even after, from 12th downwards, all of those drivers had incidents in one form or another and had to pit. So now those drivers have joined almost joined the back of this train, just waiting on Stappers. He's just coming around Parabolica at the moment. But I expect him to rejoin the back of this train by the time the safety car comes in. So back to a level playing field again.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that actually pans out. And indeed, they're all line astern here. So safety car will be coming in at the end of this lap. Just want to have a quick look on the tyre selection here for these guys, because Baz is on the mediums. He needs to get cracking. He's got soft runners ahead of him, Martin Paardekoper, Peter Phillips and Guido Airshine. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how he's going to actually work with that, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. It's a tricky one with the tyres. As I say, there's not too much difference between the compounds in terms of pace. However, the super soft runners will have quite a big advantage in the sort of first few laps after the safety car comes in. Just as because they're able to just warm up that much quicker. It's not necessarily the raw grip that's giving them that advantage. It's just tyre temps.
Yeah, well, Damie Hartman getting himself lined up now to get going on this race, but the safety car stays out, so the safety car is still out, so it's got another lap to go yet. Oh dear, this is not gonna help Seb Bogart or Nicky Vissel or any of those runners on the softs in any way, shape or form. Even worse, Basterbreen and Hans van der Berg who are on the mediums.
Yeah, they won't want to see this safety car do another lap. But because Stappers wasn't quite at the back of this train just yet, it's caused the safety car to remain out.
Oh, is that what it is? Is Stappers wasn't close enough?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So Stappers at the moment is bringing up the rear of the field. So we're going to go. Well, we're on board with him now at this moment in time. Not the greatest of starts for him, really, is it?
No, and for some reason it just never is. He has really good qualifying sessions, and then, as I said earlier on, it's the opening few laps of the race. He's just not able to sort of get the heat into the tyres as quick as the other guys do, and it just affects him. It's a shame.
Yeah, well, he's caught up to the pack now as they're coming out of Lesmo round Seraglio down towards Ascari now, so we should see the safety car coming in now at the
safety car
end
in this lap.
of this lap. Damie Hartman leading the way, and he's backing them up already, isn't he? Look at this.
He is. He had every right to do so. De Bruyne and Van der Berg both on the medium tyre, by the way. The only two drivers to go for the hardest compound.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they're doing at this moment in time. I bet you they're waving. Yeah, Hans van der Berg's weaving around as much as he can. Right, and Damie Hartman's off now. And they are up and running. Now Seb Bogart staying behind Nicky Visser, Boy Williamson there as well. It looks like Boy's looking to make a move on his teammate there. Doesn't quite make it stick.
Yeah, he's going for it.
He was going for it, but look at that. Zander Herman's trying to get his nose in there as well. He's not hanging about. John Donkel's really laying the pressure down on him now as they're coming out of turn 2. Round turn 3. Zander Herman's trying to break any toe that he can.
Sorry, Ashon went off at turn, the first chicane. Just get it in.
Yeah, he's back in there though, so that's okay.
Yeah, lost 3 places. Moldering on the attack, being pushed around really by Van der Berg. A bit of coming together there, wheel to wheel, 2 drivers.
Yeah, and Van der Berg does get past Stappers, so he's now bearing down on Peter Phillips, and Phillips goes a little bit off there on the exit of Lesmo. Gives Hans van der Berg the opportunity to close down on him. Trying to take the inside. Oh, he's pushed. Oh, that was close there. Peter Phillips closing the door.
Him out.
Hans van der Berg nearly going into the barrier. Good control there from van der Berg though.
That's dearie
me! And that's John Donkel.
Out of Ascari.
No, it's not. It's Basterbreen. Basterbreen is out of Ascari. Right in the middle of the field there. Oh my goodness me. I don't know if he's still going to be. We're on board with Martin Paardenkoper now. He should be coming around, but Basterbreen is out. Well, it hasn't been his race, not even in qualifying, has it? It's been really not. Well, this is going to be one he wants to forget, isn't it? I think Basterbreen.
Yeah, big time. He's had too much happen to him in this race, and nothing good.
Well, Paardenkoper's just gone past him. His car has now been cleared from the track. So doesn't look like there's a safety car out. So racing is on. So that's it. They've cleared it. Racing is on.
I'll have to put that down to. If I remember, I said that it was on the medium tyre, and of course they did so many laps under the safety car
That's what it
It's
was.
just difficult to get the heat into the medium tyre. That's sort of quite a big
That's exactly what I was
disadvantage.
saying. Is those two guys, him and Hans Anderberg, were going to have real problems with that other lap. That extra lap that was on, because those tyres would have been absolutely phenomenally cold. They would have had no heat. Oh dearie me! And boy, Williamson goes very, very wild there. Or was it Nicky Visser again on the exit of the Ascari there? So. Those guys, they're laying down the power. I wonder if it's because they've got the ERS on as well, dialing it up when they're coming out of the scoring. And as soon as they lay down the power, it was certainly one of the Mercedes definitely went very wobbly. I think it was Williamson, but it may have been Visser. It must have been Visser because Williamson's got ahead of him.
Yeah, it could well be. Oh,
Yeah,
Mouldering in the pit.
Rob Mouldering is into the pits.
The
We already
damage
have
again,
two
or is
DNFs,
this
Baz de Breen for Renault and Kevin Van Dell for Williams. But boy, Williamson now is closing down on Seb Bogart.
It was a drive. Sorry, it was a drive-through penalty for Mouldering.
Oh,
Deserved
yes.
a drive-through.
Yes, indeed. This is now looking very good for Mercedes. They could really pick up some great points here at this moment in time. We're on lap 10 of 53. This is F1 tonight, the only full race distance league. If you want to see some serious action and some amazing racing, you're in the right place, that's for sure. And we're not short of frills and spills already in these opening 10 laps, are we, Adrian?
No, can't believe it's only been 10 laps.
Yeah, I know. It's just like, wow. It's
yeah, I was just going to say, it looks like Mercedes can. Well, it's looking really good for Mercedes. They're currently on for 33 points. And both drivers looking very strong.
I'll have to say,
Donko as well. Donko as well. Currently P4. He's had, I'd say, an instant free race at the moment. I'm not going to jinx him by saying that. But it's there's a long way to go yet.
Yeah, that is true. There is certainly a way to go yet. Oh God, I can't go on board too much with this Renault because that engine sounds awful. I thought they'd resolved those engine issues.
Allegedly, although it's not showing for me. It's perfectly normal for me.
No,
Well, yellows in sector 1. Who is that for?
Okay.
Don't know.
We're not too sure who that is. But all the runners still there. So Davey Hartman's leading the way. 10-lap-old super softs. He's going to be having to come in pretty soon. But then again, that safety car would have helped. I mean, probably would have certainly would have extended it by at least a couple of laps, wouldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, Bogard is 15th.
Yeah, I've just noticed that myself, actually. He must have pitted.
His tyres are 8 laps old. Was that what the yellow flag was for?
It must have been. He must have gone off, but managed to get back on because he hasn't pitted. I've got no stops showing for Seb Bogart at this moment in time.
I'm annoyed I didn't spot that.
Hang on a minute. I've actually got him behind Damie Hartman.
Oh, is it? Oh, I think I see what's happened. He's not really 15th. Unless he's a lap down.
He must be a lap down because he's behind.
Let me see.
Damie Hartman, I'm sure he is. No, he's not.
Yes, I'll run with
Parder Cooper. He is behind Parder Cooper.
So
sorry. No, he's not.
Is he? No, he is behind Hartman.
Yeah, he is.
I'll run
with
Williamson at the moment. Yeah, I can see Bogart ahead. Yeah, he says he's 15th. I think he must be a lap down.
But how does that happen? I can't quite see how that's happened because it's not showing him as a lap down. Surely he'd be a lap down if Damie Hartman would have got past him.
Yeah, I'm seeing blue flags as well.
Yeah, there are blue flags being waved. This is a little bit confusing. We may have somewhat of a glitch on here at this moment in time. So what we're going to do is I'm going to jump out. If you send me an invite when I jump out. So for those of you watching, bear with us a moment because we think we may have an issue here with the board because it isn't really making too much sense at this moment in time. So I'm going to quickly jump out and then jump back in again. If you could just in one action out.
Yeah, so I'll keep commentary running. Try to. Williamson gets a little bit wobbly into turn 1 there. Line up the rear tyres. Mouldering, however, still the fastest man out there. And there you go.
Yeah, got the invite now. I actually picked one up from Baz de Breen, funnily enough. Okay, so hopefully that should take us back in and we should have clear indication, and then you can do the same, Adrian. But it's a bit odd that the glitch was for both of us.
Yeah, it's just
normally
kicked
it's one or another. So let's have a look on here. Just waiting to go back in again, and there we have. Okay. I've got Seb Bogart in last place.
Perhaps he is. Perhaps we just missed it.
But he's showing in last place with Baz de Breen and Kevin Van Delft, who are both DNF'd ahead of him. Interesting. Well, he is on the track all by his lonesome self at this moment in time. So let's have a quick look here, see if he's actually made any pits. He still has no pits, so he must have gone off the track. Must have done.
Yeah, normally you see it. Normally you see the driver drop, don't you? You know, down the.
I'm wondering if he's actually it's his AI that's in, but I can't see it as being so. It doesn't show any ghosting that I can see, so we'll figure that out. Oh, actually, I'm on Damien Hartman. That's why. No ghosting on him either. He's 3 laps down. So I've just got an update on my details. He's 3 laps down.
Okay.
So Seb Bogart is bringing the back of the field. Not too sure how that happened, or where that happened, or even when that happened. But yeah, and the weird thing is, I'm not even showing him as having pitted at all. So
yeah, it's very, very difficult. Very difficult to go 3 laps down in the space of 15 laps without pitting. Yeah, because if you just wait on the track, you'll just get black flagged. Sitting around for that length of time.
Well, we'll see how that pans out in due course. Bit of a strange run there, but let's go through the runners and riders. We're on lap 15 of 53. We are approaching the third of the way through the race, effectively, and certainly over a quarter of the way through. Damien Hartman leading the way at this moment in time for Ferrari. Boy Williamson is in second place. He's just 4 seconds down the road from Damien Hartman at this moment in time. And actually, let's have a quick look at the tyres there. So Damien Hartman's on 14-lap-old super softs, as is Boy Williamson. So I suspect it's going to be first man in, and the other one's going to try and see if he can get the undercut on him, isn't he, these two?
Yeah, I'm going to have to take your word for that at the moment, because I can't get back into the game for some reason. It kicked me and it's not letting me back in.
Right.
Everything's happening fine.
Let me send you an invite.
Thanks. Thank you.
So, invite sent. So, Boy Williamson is currently in second place. Nicky Visser is in third on those softs. He's looking pretty strong there. It has to be saying he's getting a lovely toe off his teammate down the into turn 1. Yeah, Nicky Visser moves up there. Gets a good toe off Boy Williamson. Moves up into second place. Now, that's not going to help Boy too much, because he's obviously on the super soft. So we'll see how that pans out, because Damien Hartman, I'm sure, is going to have to come in within the next couple of laps, as is Boy Williamson. The question is how's he going to respond? John Donkel, he's in P4. He's just under 3 seconds behind Williamson. Marco Pullen, he's in P5. Good return from Marco Pullen there. And P6, Marcel Dronig for Haas. P7, Guido Airshine. Good job from him there as well. Marcel France for Red Bull is in P8. Hans van der Berg for Williams has now moved up to P9, and he's the only man remaining that is still on those mediums. So it's going to be interesting to see how that is actually going to work out for him. Just trying to see position change here. He's moved up 2 places, started in 11, moved up 2 to P9. So just trying to see, 2, 5, 8, 13. We could see him actually get into the top 3 once the round of pit stops has been done. I don't know what you're thinking, Adrian, but by my quick calculation, that's quite doable.
Yes, yeah, I think that's it's on his radar at the moment. But you know, anything can happen between now and that phase of the pit stop. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see there. But my telemetry, by the way, is showing Bogard's 4 laps behind.
I've actually got him now as 2 laps, and Zan. Sorry, not 2 laps. What am I saying? I'm looking at the tyres there. Sorry. Yeah, it's a bit of an odd one there.
Yeah, but you know, if anyone can come back from a 4-lap deficit, it's Bogard.
Well, yeah, that is very true. If anyone can do it, would be them, that's for sure. So we'll see how that pans out. But at this moment in time, I'm just trying to get an idea. Obviously, we can see the tyres on there. Stops. Marco Pullen's come in. Guido Airshine's come in. Straps has already done 2 stops, so he's doing pretty well there to be where he is. Marco Pullen up 8 places. Marcel Dronig up 8 places. They've done pretty well there, the Force India and the Haas, got to say.
Yeah. I don't want to talk about him for too long, but I think it's fair to say that Bogard is aware that he is glitched because he is just cruising. His lap times are sort of far off. Well, I wouldn't say far off the pace, but yeah, he's absolutely not pushing. Yeah,
very odd there. Obviously, in due course, we'll find what happened, but definitely some sort of technical glitch or error coming up there for the Haas driver. But I mean, who's going to be laughing here? Davey Hartman, because this is what we said. This is what I said at the beginning of the race. What Damien needs is either Seb Bogart's DNF not get any points, and then for him to win. And at the moment, that's how it's looking.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, yeah, you have to take it on sort of face value of what we're seeing at the moment, and what we are seeing is Damien Hartman's going to score 25 and Bogard will score 0. So that will massively close up the gap. I think, what was it, 41 points difference before this race?
Yes. No, it wasn't.
Hartman just lapped
28.
Bogard.
39 points was the difference.
Sorry, 39, right, so it'll be just 14 at the end of this. You know, if Hartman does win it.
As I say, Hartman leading the way at this moment in time. Nicky Visser has got into 2nd place, and his teammate Boy Williamson is in 3rd. But is Damien Hartman going to come in? That's the question. When is Damien Hartman going to come in? He's in now. He is in now. So, Boy Williamson, he needs to crack on. He needs to get that toe off his teammate. He's got Seb Bogart ahead of him. And Seb is not going to make it easy into turn 1. Oh, he's blocking
Bogart
it.
on the racing line.
He is on the racing line, but he's showing us not participating. He's got a cross against him. And that has cost Boy Williamson dearly, hasn't it?
Yeah, he won't want to see that. But yeah. Yeah, he did have the X against his name, but you know, at the end of the day, Bogard's car was on the racing line when it was being lapped.
So he had an X against him. To me, it's the ghost running. He's not actually in the game. He's out.
Yeah, he might have temporarily lost connection at that moment.
No, I think he is actually out.
Oh, completely.
Yeah.
Donkel's all over the back of. Donkel's all over the back of Boy Williamson now. But yeah, Donkel actually had some really fast laps. Last couple of purple sectors in there. Again, that incident that we just talked about with Bogard and Williamson, has affected Boy, and it's given Donkel an opportunity to pass.
Well, I think Boy's going to come into the pits now. That is what I would
say.
Yeah, he is. So Boy Williamson is in the pits. That releases John Donkel now into that second place. Williamson into the pits. Now the question here is, where's Damie Hartman? He's coming round now. Boy Williamson is only just out of his pit lane, or pit box rather, coming out onto the track, so he will still come out behind Hartman. And the question is how close behind Hartman? He's 2 seconds.
Moldering,
No,
sorry, Moldering.
he's more, sorry.
Moldering's making the move on.
Oh, dearie me!
on
Dearie
Van der Berg.
me!
That's a couple of times those two
I
drivers
just caught
come
that as they
together.
were coming through, and there's damage, I think, to the Williams of Hans van der Berg there.
Yeah, it's the second or third time this race those two drivers have made contact.
Yeah, certainly no love loss, I think, between the Williams and the Sauber driver here, that's for sure.
No, absolutely not. I do often refer to Van der Berg as, you know, the Moldering of last season, and now he's racing against the Moldering of this season.
Yeah.
Like racing against his former self.
Yeah, so Hans van der Berg there, as we said, getting up close and personal.
That's the other Sauber past Van der Berg. Mark Stapper's just made the overtake into Ascari, but he's gone off at Ascari. Managed to hold on.
He has. So Stappers makes the move as well. So both Saubers past the Williams there, and he's under pressure. He's got Marcel France right on his tail as well now.
Yeah, they're all.
I think he has got front wing damage. He's going to be coming into the pits because he did have that front wing damage, and that's what hit him, wasn't it? That's why he had so many people coming past him. Was that front wing damage?
Yep. Yeah, that's right. Williamson's just got past France as well, just as we saw Van der Berg come in the pit. Williamson on the attack with his fresh, soft tyres.
Yeah, but he didn't want to come out there. He's got the Saubers of Stappers and Moldering between him and Hartman, and Moldering is not going to give in easily. He's got valuable points he wants to try and get back from this race.
Yeah, that's right. It's crucial traffic between the Mercedes and the Ferrari, as you just pointed out.
That car still racing on track. The Haas of Seb Bogart. It is actually the AI that's running on that, which is why it's lost so much pace and so much speed. But strangely enough, it's not actually ghosted. So the drivers do have to take care of it because they could still get damage.
Yeah, the rule with F1 tonight is they don't actually have ghosting on, and I think Bogard may have just paused his game because he's, I don't think he is racing, obviously being 4 or 5 laps down or whatever he is. I think he's just paused and he's gonna finish the race, but won't drive himself.
Yeah, so definitely an issue there, but Williamson has got past the first Sauber of Stappers. He now has got Rob Moldering down the road, another 4 seconds down the road. He needs to catch up with him pretty quick. Guido Airshine, in the meantime, has got snuck in there as well. He's up in P5.
Yeah, it's a good drive from him so far.
Well, it's those soft runners. You can see those softs coming into play now. I mean, Nicky's on 21 lap old softs, obviously the longest runner on those soft tyres at this moment in time. Van der Berg was on the mediums. He does come in and now gone on to a set of softs. Saying that, John Dunkel's on 21 lap old super softs and Marco Pullen on 19. So, as is Rob Moldering. So, how deep can they go?
Well, Donkel doesn't seem to be losing any pace whatsoever. He just set a purple third sector on his previous lap. I think it's going to be a purple first sector. Purple third sector on the previous lap. So yeah, this lap is only 4 tenths off of Visser's current pace.
Wow. 4 tenths. That's that can make a difference. He's only 3.2 seconds behind. On that basis, he could catch up with him with the next 5 or 6 laps.
In fact, Donkel on 22 lap old super softs is matching Damie Hartman, who's on 4 lap old softs.
Wow. Well, the question is how deep. We know Jonah can make those tyres last though, and on this track, I mean, it is doable, isn't it? If you take it easy into the corners.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this is
such
such a
rough.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean, there's not the corners here not that harsh on the tyres. Perhaps the harshest is oh, Marco Pullen's gone. He's retired, but he's in P3.
He has. Marco Pullen has indeed gone out. I don't know what's happened there. Yellow flag's been. Oh yes, and he lost it. He's lost it in Lesmo. He lost it out of turn 6. I think he's probably gone onto the left-hand side and gone onto the rough, and that's spun the car into the barrier there between turn 6 and 7.
Yeah, yeah, good analysis there. I think that's bang on.
You've got to watch it.
It's a shame
it's
that
easily done, isn't it, out of turn 6, because you've got to go right over onto the left-hand side. You've got to go over the rumble strip, but you've got to be careful not to go over the rumble strip, haven't you?
Yeah, it's quite unforgiving Monza with the rumble strips. But my heart does go out to the Force India guys because fair enough, Ershine's still there. He's P4 at the moment, and but both drivers are going to score good points. But unfortunately, it's not the case, or not for one of them anyway.
Well, rather unfortunate there, I think, for Marco Pullen.
Donkel has pitted, by the way. Donkel's just come out of pit. John Donkel now P5 on the
P5 at this moment in time. So we're seeing the first round of pit stops on these early 20s laps. But that said, we've still got Rob Mouldering. He's going to need to come in. He's not going to be too much longer out on those, I would have thought. Another lap, maybe 2 if he wants to push it. But
yeah, perhaps
he doesn't want to push it too hard.
Funnily enough, he's been pushing really hard for the last 2 or 3 laps to set two consecutive fastest laps of the race so far. It looks like he's just sort of pushing them to the end of their life, and will be pitting in the next couple of laps or so, I would say. I wonder what he's going to go on to.
That's a very good question.
If it were me, I'd probably chance the. Oh dear me! I'd chance the medium tyre perhaps, but
it's
I'll leave it up to him.
Yeah, I mean, you got 28 laps remaining. He's in. He is in. So Rob Mouldering is in off those. I think he's going to go on to the softs.
Yeah, you probably can push the softs for 30 laps on this track. It will be at about 70 or 80% from the end.
John Donkel, pushing Boy Williamson into turn 1 here. Oh. Gets through. Lovely move there by John Donkel, really laying the pressure down on Boy Williamson, and gets through on that first Variante. But Boy not letting him get away that easily with it. He's closing him down now for the second Variante.
Yeah, brilliant move from John there into one. It's not easy overtaking Boy as well. So yeah, no, very well done.
Yeah, definitely a good move. Boy Williamson not keen on letting him get away. Oh, nearly does the same as Pullen there. As you can see, that's the danger point when you're coming through those 6 and 7 of Lesmo. You've got to be so careful when you go over to the left on that rumble strip not to overcook it.
Yeah, that dirty air doesn't help as well. You need that rear downforce just to stick your car to the track. And when you've got another car in front of you, that turbulent air will just lift the rear of your car up slightly.
Well, Boy Williamson certainly fighting hard at this moment in time. His pit stop was pretty much ruined, unfortunately, by coming across Seb Bogart as he did in that first Variante. That really did not help him at all, did it?
No, absolutely not. But that is what's happened, and the race goes on.
It does indeed. Nicky Visser, he is still in that second place, but he's nearly 6 seconds off the back of Damie Hartman. Guido Ershine's in third. He's closing down though on Visser by the looks of it. I don't know if you can, but he does look as if he's laying down the power now, actually.
Yeah, he is pushing. He's setting some reasonably quick laps. Although Visser's last lap was almost a full second, over a full second faster than Ershine's on the last lap. Well, I'll keep an eye on it for this one as well. But I think Visser is pulling away, bearing in mind he's on the super soft tyre.
Yeah, that is very true. He is on the faster tyre, and he is starting to pull away definitely there. Donkel is now closing in on the back of Ershine, and Williamson still within DRS of Donkel. So he's not giving it up, not by any stretch of the imagination.
No, he's still going for it, isn't he?
Well, yeah, he definitely is. I mean, it's important. He needs that position. He knows that he can do better than that. Visser setting the provisional fastest time of 1:23.7. So yeah, he's definitely got a move on.
Yeah, expect that.
So
yeah, some two and a half seconds faster than Eshon, that fastest lap.
Hans van der Berg is closing in on the back of Marcel France here. What can he do? He's got the DRS. Closing right down now on the back of Marcel France. It was a bit closer, but France is pulling away now. Say, good race from France so far. He's been doing, hasn't had a great season, but this one, he's not doing too bad, really.
No, he's kept himself out of trouble. There has been a lot of sort of going on in front and behind him. But he's had a solid race. Started P10, of course, and is currently in P10 at the moment. I wouldn't say he's looking comfortable out there. It seems a little bit twitchy, but well, he's still got all four wheels on the ground.
Guido Airshine challenging John Donkel for P3 here. John Donkel's made the move on him, as I think they were coming out of Parabolica, but now Guido Airshine's trying to come back. But John Donkel, I'm pretty sure it's before they even got to the DRS actually. Closed right.
Yeah, that's going to be.
Oh, look at this now.
Williamson
looking to get past. No, it's not.
Sorry,
it's Paul Williamson. Sorry, Paul Williamson. Oh, and Airshine nearly into the barrier there. Oh, he's looking a bit twitchy there.
I think Boy took him by surprise there. Just sort of looked in his mirror and he was there.
Definitely.
Sort of,
Definitely. He wasn't expecting to see that Mercedes as well. He knew that he had the Renault coming up behind him, but he just did not expect to see that Mercedes. I think, as you say, it's suddenly, what the hell is that?
Yep.
That was definitely what's going on moment. But Boy Williamson sneaks past them. As I said, this is so important though for Boy. He needs to get back up there. He's up in P4. He's looking to challenge John Donkel for that P3. I mean, it's a great run again from Williamson, isn't it?
Yeah, really great stuff. I think Boy feels that even the win is within his grasp. It certainly was sort of earlier on in this race. I think it still is, and in his mind, I think that's also the case. I think that's his goal at the moment.
Yeah, I think you're right there, definitely. So he's pushing as much as he can, and Hans van der Berg picking up a 3-second time penalty there.
Notice the gap between Donkel and Williamson has come right down now. That's due to Donkel's ERS is completely out. It has been for a little while now. Williamson's managing it that little bit better, and that is what is allowing him to close that gap.
Well, yeah, and this is where it does come into play, because we know it definitely comes into play on this track. I mean, it is a fast track, but that still, it gives you, well, what was the, I can't remember the state.
Mode 5 and mode 0, or when it completely runs out.
Sorry, went a bit of black screen there at the moment. Yeah, I mean that's a hell of a difference, isn't it?
Yeah, it's sort of around a quarter of the power of the sort of engine alone. Additional on top of that.
So we're on there. We're on lap 30 of 53. This is F1 tonight. The only full race distance league. I don't even bother saying that I know of, because no one's ever corrected me, so I'll just stick to that one. And we're on lap 30 of 53 here for this Monza Italian Grand Prix. And it's been a hell of a race so far. It's not too bad. We've only got 3 DNFs, which I'm surprised about, although I'm surprised about who they are as well. I mean, Kevin Van Delft, Baz de Breen and Marco Pullen. Yeah, certainly some unexpected ones there, that's for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we saw we saw De Bruyne spin just after the safety car. Lost it at I think it was out of Ascari on the first lap after the safety car had come in. And the safety car had been out for about sort of 4, maybe even 5 laps by that point, and De Bruyne's tyres were just stone cold. And yeah, just wasn't able to get the traction out of that bend and just lost it. And yeah, and Pullen as well. Pullen lost it around the corner where actually his teammate is right now. Around the first, Lesmos just went wide. Well, we think went wide to the on the left hand side and spun the car around to the right, just rotated it around and bounced off the wall.
Yeah, it's certainly not the place he wanted to be, that's for sure. And just having a quick look here down the field and seeing where the guys are. And yeah, I'm just looking at here, and obviously P40, but P13, Martin Cooper, he's going to be sorely disappointed with that. It just hasn't come together for him at this moment in time, has it?
No, it really hasn't. No, I was watching him so early on in this race. Yeah, he just looked. I don't want to use the word sort of nervous, but it just didn't look like he had the sort of circuit nailed down. Just didn't look really comfortable with his setup or whatever it was. Just something that just didn't sit right with him and the car, and that's what we're seeing here.
Yeah, and it is rather unfortunate because he's certainly a more than capable driver. We were saying that he's the sort of driver that we're going to see, we'll expect to be coming through, but it just hasn't worked out for him on this Italian Grand Prix, unfortunately.
No, but I've still got sort of big hopes for Martin Cooper, especially sort of at the latter stages of this season and perhaps the beginning of next season.
Yeah, hopefully so. I mean, I do, as I say, I do agree with you on that one. I think he's definitely one to keep an eye on. But you have that situation sometimes. Sometimes the races don't always work out for you. But let's see what he can do. He's coming up to lap 32. He's on the set of softs. He started on the super soft, so you'll probably go on to another set of softs, I would think, after this, won't he? Or maybe super softs, actually. He probably will go super soft.
Yeah, probably could do the super soft. Muldering, by the way, he's got about to. He's just passed Stappers in the pit, but he's passed Peter Phillips on track, just out of Ascari. Yeah, made him over the
Muldering
ERS.
moves from 7th up to 5th. He's going to be happy with that.
Yeah, very much so. Bearing in mind he had a bit of an incident, didn't he? So in the opening, I think it was about lap 3. Made contact with Vanderberg. Vanderberg? No, I don't think it was.
Yes,
Vanderberg,
it was.
then.
There was a definite collision there.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and let's remind ourselves actually of where these guys started. So, sorry, get it turned off. To give us a better idea of what we're looking at. Rob Muldering, 12 positions, started in P17.
That's remarkable. Safety car saved him sort of massively there. Bunched all the cars back up again on lap 6. And he's done very well to fight back up to P5. Boy Williamson, Donker's having to defend against Williamson. He's left the door open for him.
He has into
Williamson's
turn
gone
1,
very deep.
Oh, and he got it wrong there. He's got a 3-second time penalty, but I don't think he has to give the place back actually because he's got the time penalty.
Yeah, it's a bit of a sort of grey area, that one. Me personally, I probably would give it back despite the penalty because the move was made off track. But obviously the game hasn't recognised that. That's my recommendation. I'd give it back.
I've got to say, I mean, that's what I would do. But then again, if you're racing and you're not going to get a penalty for it, you already got 3 seconds, you'd think,
Yeah, crack on.
Fair enough. You know what I mean? I've got it, so I'm keeping it. But but that 3-second time penalty
he's got another one.
do him any favours. Oh,
He just got
yeah,
himself another 3-second penalty.
another
Cut
one
the
there.
corners.
As he was
Suppose
coming through a Ascari, wasn't it?
Yeah, it must have been accumulation of warnings.
Well, John Donkel is now closing in on the back of him. I'm sure he's going to make the attack on that start-finish straight. And boy, he's definitely going out wide there. And yeah, he's definitely got that downforce style down. Look at this, lovely bit there, and he's going to look to try and get it into that turn there.
Well, very late on the break.
No, he's had to go. Yes, yes, he does. No, he doesn't. Can he make it stick or not? Boy, Williamson gets ahead of him. Oh my goodness me! That was close, but it was a good move. I've got to say, from John Donkel, you know, really, really good move. It comes down into the second variante now. Can he now make it stick? Yes, he can. Gets passed by Williamson. Lovely driving there from John Donkel, though. Got to say, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great.
Oh!
So Williamson's just nearly into the wall.
There. So close in coming into the wall. And that's where Marco Pullen lost it earlier on, and that's what we were saying. You've got to be careful. You're coming out of turn 6. When you go onto that left-hand side rumble strip, do not go over it, because you've got every opportunity of going into the barrier opposite.
And you know what else, Eddie? I don't know if you sort of spotted earlier on when John passed Williamson for the first time about sort of 5 laps ago. Yeah, Williamson nearly lost it then, so I wonder if it's just his setup isn't just not coping with any sort of form of dirty air. As soon as someone gets in front of him, yeah, he seems to just lose that rear end.
Well, it's the downfall. He's definitely got it dialed up. Because you've got the downforce dialed down. You know how to take your corners, and you know where your braking points are. As soon as you rightly say you're in that dirty air, suddenly those go out of the window, and you lose all grip effectively, and that's the issue that you got. It is very difficult to deal with. You know, as much as it is in real world, it certainly is in this in this sim racing variation, if you like, as well. That it still applies.
Yeah, another 3-second penalty for Boy as well. Just that's 9 seconds
already
in the space
got.
of 3 laps.
I've already counted up 9 seconds worth, and that's not counting what he may have got before.
No, that's right. You mentioned sort of the real world counterparts just now. Yeah, I mean the real life Mercedes does actually struggle with sort of dirty air. Any sort of cars in front of it, it will just it doesn't have the same level of sort of downforce as another car with the car in front of it. Just can't seem to handle it. But yeah, I mean that seems to be reflected in whatever setup Williamson has at the moment.
Yeah, it does seem to be that way, certainly. I don't know. It's easy to sit here and say.
Sorry, he's passed him. He's got past John.
Yeah.
John's been caught sleeping with his ERS on 0. Just really not defending at all against Boy. That was an easy move.
Wow, that's an important move for Boy, because he needs to get that move done. He's accumulated so many penalty points here. He needs to get as much air as he can between him and John Donkel. But I mean, looking at this, they're both on the soft tyres. There's only a 4-lap difference in age between them. He's got a hard job on his hands, because John is not going to let this go easily. I think we're going to see these guys battling right until the end.
Yeah, we may well do. And Williamson, look, it's sliding around as well on the exit that second Les mode. And yeah, I don't know whether John knows that Boy has 9 seconds of penalties. His engineers, Jeff, may have advised him of that, and that might be why we saw him sort of not defend, because he might have known that he didn't really have to defend, so he can manage his ERS himself without having to worry about Boy. But we don't know for sure.
Well, time will tell, effectively.
Oh, did Hartman go off? Sorry, I think I just saw Hartman go off at turn 1. Visser is down right behind him.
Jamie Hartman? Yes, yeah. Look at this, he is. Yep, Nicky Visser is right on his tails as they're coming now into the second variante, but he lets him get through. But Visser is right on him now. So Damien Hartman missed the corner, and now he's having. Oh, dearie me! He comes
Oh,
right
he's
across
sliding
the
around,
front.
isn't
He's
he?
really struggling now. Nearly takes up the front of Nicky Visser, and Visser can smell the blood now. He's really pushing. He's got that DRS as they're coming down into the Ascari. Gets past him. And you've got to remember, Hartman's got dirt on those tyres, so he's got to take it easy. But now he's closing
Good
on the
exit
back of
from
Visser.
Ascari,
He's looking to make the move on him now as well. And he does. They're coming down to the Parabolica. And look at this, Visser
Whatever
getting
that
as
was.
much of width of there and power as he can. I'll tell you what, Danny Hartman, I don't think he's going to be able to hold this Mercedes off, Adrian.
No, perhaps not. But whatever that was that we saw just now from Damie, yeah, he needs to shake it off and shake it off quickly because the pressure is building.
Yeah, definitely. And let's not forget, Hartman is on the yellow-walled soft tyre and Visser is on the super soft, so there is an advantage, albeit Visser, though, he's probably only got about 10 laps maybe remaining on those, hasn't he?
Yep. Yeah, it'd be something like that. Meanwhile, just behind them, John has re-passed Boy Williamson into turn 1.
Yeah, and Boy Williamson now on the tails of John Donkel for that P3 position. And it's as we said, these guys are going to be fighting it out right till the end. I don't think, they're pretty equally matched. Pretty equal set of tyres as well. Yeah, and Boy's steering well clear of that left-hand side.
This is passed again, that's under ERS. He's just got buckets of energy in that car at the moment. Really good ERS management from Nicky.
So Nicky makes the move again on Damie Hartman on the second DRS coming out of turn 7 down to turn 8. But Hartman's now on the back of him as well. And again, these guys, at this rate, they're going to be battling it until Visser comes in to the pits. And he's in now. He's in now. He's going to go on to another set of super softs, isn't he? He's got to have to go on to another set of super softs.
Yeah, it would absolutely be super softs. That might be a bit of a godsend for Damie. He wouldn't want that to sort of fight Nicky for too long. You've also take into consideration that he just didn't have any oomph left in the car. In terms
the question here though is there's 14 laps remaining, Adrian. Sorry, quick one here. Can Damie go the 14 laps on these softs, do you think?
Yeah, he probably can. Any other track, I would have said no. It was a yellow flag, sorry. Was that yellow? No, don't know.
Don't know where that was.
But yes, Damie probably can do 14 on these softs. As I said, the tyre deck is not so bad, and even on sort of very warm tyres, you don't really suffer too much with your lap times as long as you're able to keep using that ERS on the straights and save it in the corners.
Yeah, and that's it. That's what he's got to try and do now. As you say, he's got 14 laps remaining, soon to be 13 laps. And I think that's why Visser aired on the side of caution there. He could have gone a little bit deeper on those super softs, but he wants to get in and running on those super softs so he can get build as much speed through this field as he can, because they're all sort of on relatively sort of middle-aged softs, aren't they? Everyone around him.
Yeah. I'd expect Visser to set some very fast laps. I mean, he's 23.5 behind Hartman after that pit stop. That is doable within 13 laps.
It is doable, and he definitely needs to open up all the valves there and push as hard as he can. But equally, I'm sure Damie's aware of that, and Damie's not going to ease up here. This is important for him. He needs to set a pretty fast pace over the next 10 laps and keep it consistent, doesn't he?
Yeah, and he needs to completely forget about the sort of almost spin on this corner, in fact, that we saw earlier on. Don't quite know what that was, but it sort of stuck with him, didn't it?
Yeah, but we've seen quite a lot of driver errors round these Lesmo turns, and it's not the normal place I'd expect to see the drivers having issues, I've got to say.
No, but we are 40 laps into this race, and concentration can lapse as well, of course. can play a part.
That's very true. Well, let's have a quick look at the field at this moment in time. So Martin Parder Cooper at this moment in time, bring up the rear of the field in P13. So not where he certainly wanted to be, that's for sure. And then ahead of him, we've got Zander Hermans in the Toro Rosso. He's in P12. Then we have, well, surprisingly, I've got to say, Hans van der Berg in P11. Not been his race, has it?
No, no, it hasn't. I thought it might have been. Oh, sorry, I've just seen France just get smacked off track by was that Peter Phillips in the sister car there, the Toro Rosso. Just out of Ascari. Definitely sort of piece of one blue car, whichever one it was, come off.
Yeah, that's not good.
Not really. But yeah, Van der Berg, yeah, I thought this might have been his race. As I said, it's one that you can just sort of attack pretty much relentlessly, without fear of the fight. It's just kind of giving up. And I thought that suited his style, but I'm too sure what's happened to Van der Berg. It hasn't worked out, has it? I know he had some battles with. He had some battles with Moldering earlier on, which didn't end too well.
Well, no, he had that front wing damage, didn't he, to his car, and he had to come in. So, I mean, that definitely suffered because he had to do a full lap under that damage, and he was overtaken by about 3 or 4, as I recall.
Yeah.
So, Hans van der Berg, as we say, he's down in that P11 position. P10 is Marcel France in the Red Bull. Then we have the sister Toro Rosso of Peter Phillips in P9. Then we have Mark Stappers, Sauber driver, teammate to Rob Moldering, P8. It's not too bad, to be fair. I mean, he's in the points, isn't he, at this moment in time?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, we normally see him sort of P8, P7, sort of quite regularly. He has really good qualifying sessions. Doesn't quite work out in the first half of the race, then manages to pull it back by the end, and just scores consistent points. I think if he can nail the first part of the race as well, I think we'll see him on the podium before too long.
Yeah, undoubtedly. And we move on to Force India, Guido Airshine, P7. Okay, I mean, I'm not too sure if I recall. I think that is an improvement on where he started, isn't it, or not? Yes, it is. Yeah, he started in P9. Yeah, it is. So he's moved up 2 places. I'm sure he's going to be happy with that, and in the points as well.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, 6 points for Force India, and as I said earlier on, they only scored 2 points between both cars in the last 2 races. So he's done exceptionally well by those standards. So you feel he probably could have got sort of even higher up the order.
Yeah.
He's only got the pace to do so.
Yeah, he just had a little bit of a glitch.
Sorry, Eddie. This is past Boy, and I think that was a bit of a team order there. This has set consistently 3 fastest laps in a row. He's cut the gap down to 17 seconds now between him and Damie. That's down from 23 in the space of 3 laps.
Wow. So he is definitely charging. This is what we expected. Look at this. He's only 5 seconds now off the back of John Donkel. 16 seconds off the back of Damie Hartman. And that was 23 seconds, a couple of laps ago?
Yeah, 23 and a half seconds. It's now 16 and a half seconds. And it's purple first sector, so it's been setting constant purple sectors.
He's definitely going to be certainly watching. He's charging through this field at this moment in time. So, as we were saying, Guido Airshine there, he's obviously in P7. But then we have the Haas driver, Marcel Dronig. He's in P6. Good run from him, and valuable points as well, especially as his teammate isn't going to be getting any points.
Yep. Yeah, it's not normally Droning that gets the whole of the points for Haas, but he has done so in this case. It's was it 8 points for 6th. obviously Donkel in the leading Renault. They're
Yeah,
currently leading the championship at the moment, obviously in P2. So Renault will still maintain their lead in the constructors, but at least it's sort of damage limitation for Haas with Dronig in a respectable P6. It's a good drive from Marcel.
yeah, definitely good run from him. Rob Mouldering, as we know, obviously he's done exceptionally well. Started right down, as we know, in P17, 12 places here. Great race from him. I mean, he's been pushing, obviously. He has been pushing.
Yeah, I think he's had. I think he's
sorry,
had a few
sorry, Boy Williamson's come into the pits, but does he come into the pits or John Donkel's got ahead? John Donkel's got ahead of Nicky Visser here. Sorry. Nicky Visser. No, John Donkel's already there. Sorry, it's all right. I'm going mad here. Don't worry about it.
No problem.
Sorry. So we're saying Rob Mouldering. I mean, great run from him. 12 places. Fantastic job. Really is.
Yeah, and as I was saying, he's had quite a few sort of obstacles thrown in his path in this race, which he's managed to sort of hurdle over, and just keep fighting and fighting. As I said earlier on, he's always an exciting driver to watch in these races, and with him sort of starting right at the back as well, I knew it was kind of going to be one of those types of races for him. And he's done brilliantly to get back to P5, and he's only 4 seconds off of Williamson, who is falling back slightly against him. 7/10 a lap. We've still got sort of 8 laps to go, so it's a possible overtake and sort of 4th place on the cards for Mouldering.
Yeah, I mean, Boy Williamson, good points at this moment. They're in 4th and 3rd, respectively, the Mercedes drivers there. But he is going to come under the challenge of Rob Mouldering before long. It's going to be interesting to see how he's going to actually respond to that, isn't it?
Yeah, and don't forget as well, boys, got sort of at least 9 seconds of penalties as well. So it is going to be at least 4th place for Rob, even if he stays exactly where he is.
Yeah. Well, let's see how that actually pans out for him. So Nicky Visser, as we know, obviously he's in that P3 position. Not where he wanted to be. Started in the right at the front of the grid, didn't he? P1. He was hoping to keep that all the way through. He's going to be, you think 3rd and on the podium is good, but he's going to be disappointed if he keeps this position. That's why he's charging through on these super softs, isn't he?
Yeah, he's absolutely got his head down at the moment. He'll be disappointed to not have had a bit of an easier race than he's had, but I think he sort of relishes in the in the challenge of this type of race. It's a circuit that he knows he's quick at. He's on the fastest tyre. He's just giving it everything right now. He's just saying, blinding lap after blinding lap. He's really, really cutting down the time to the lead. So I think a win is most definitely in his sights. 13 seconds now, the gap.
Well, he's closing down now to John Donkel. So that's the man that he wants to get to. And, he's going to have to get a move on, isn't he?
Yes. Yes, he is. I think he's doing it. Just about. John's gaining 3/10 on Hartman. Yeah, it's not sort of enough. I think John might be sort of settling for 2nd at the moment, but he's going to have Nicky right up his gearbox in just maybe even just a lap's time.
Well, I think, to be fair, I think that Visser is actually going to close in on him probably a little bit sooner than that. I think he's going to have him. He's going to be on his tails on the exit of Ascari, I reckon.
Yeah, I think you could be right. That is some rate he's actually catching.
Really charging
watching
through,
his lap times here. Just put this in perspective. Put this in perspective. His last lap that he just did wasn't like his fastest lap by any means. It was a 23.1. The next fastest lap by anyone else is a 24.4, and that's by John Donkel.
So he's effectively
a second and a half.
3 seconds faster or second and a half
1.5
faster?
Yeah, 1.5. 23.1 to a 24.4, 1.3 faster than the next fastest man.
Now, I know what he's doing here. He's got John Donkel in sights, and he's keeping him in his sights while he's replenishing his ERS. He's got to be having to do that soon, surely. Look at that, 1:23.0, fastest lap so far.
Didn't even have purple first or last sectors as well.
Well, fantastic run from Nicky Visser, and I'm sure John Donkel has been notified by Jeff that he's got a Mercedes bearing down on him.
Probably notified by his mirrors as well.
Well, yeah, he might see a little glint of silver in the background there, but I think he's a little bit way off yet. It'd be a bit of a speck in that mirror, but you can see he's really closing it down there, using the full width of the track, get as much speed and power down as he possibly can. And I'm sure now Donkel will see him very much in his mirrors as they're coming through Ascari. Lovely run here down to Parabolica. It's like phenomenal speeds that these guys are hitting.
Every single lap he's setting a purple middle sector, Nicky.
He obviously likes sector 2, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I've got to say, it's probably the trickiest corners of the track, really, in sector 2.
Yeah, I can almost feel the sweat.
Well, we've got
that John must be experiencing right now.
4 laps remaining, Adrian. 4 laps remaining for this F1 Tonight Italian Grand Prix. And what a finish we're looking at here at this moment in time. Nicky Visser, look at that, trying to get a little look in there. John Donkel closing the door on him. But Visser does have the advantage, remember. He is on those faster red-walled super soft tyres. John Donkel on a much older set of the soft tyres there. So that's making a difference. Visser, look
He's
at
been making the move.
Right, yes, he's made the move. He's made the move down before Ascari on that second DRS. And this is really important for Visser, isn't it? Now he's released. He's got 4 laps remaining. He's got a 9-second gap to Jamie Hartman. Can he close it down? Well, at the rate he's going at, it's very possible, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. I'm just checking the penalties at the moment. Just while I do that, well, that's strange. Harman's got 3 warnings, but no penalty. When you get a penalty after your 3rd warning. Visser does have a penalty. Just a 1 penalty. Although if he gets 1 more warning, it will be a 2nd penalty. So yeah, it's a 3-second time penalty for Visser on Hartman. Yeah,
what about
Donkel's struggling with his fuel.
Has he got any
Donkel's struggling with his fuel saving. John has 1, yes, so it's a 3-second penalty for.
So that negates effectively the gap between Visser and Donkel. So this is definitely for 2nd place that these guys are racing. There's only 3 laps remaining, and we can see that the rest of the field, Marcel France is closing in on Hans van der Berg, but he's been behind him for quite a number of laps, but just hasn't really closed him down for that P10 position. That's important because that is a point to be had there rather than absolutely 0.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame for France, to be fair. He's definitely deserving of points, but just sort of hasn't had that raw pace at this circuit.
No, definitely not. He just hasn't been able to pull it together. So it is important he's to get that place there. He has moved up into P10. Hans van der Berg did make the move on Marcel France there. Sorry, getting a little bit distracted there. But let's get back up to the top of the field now. And John Donkel is now 2 seconds behind. Visser is definitely trying. Look at that, 7 seconds now. 7.2 seconds off the back of Jamie Hartman. Wow. it's going to be very close, but I don't think Viggs is going to be able to make it before the end of this race.
It's one thing to catch a driver. It's another thing, as we saw in his battle against John. It's another thing entirely to actually overtake them. And I think John's defending. I think that is what cost Visser a shot at Damie.
Yeah, definitely. Look at that. Martin Pardakuber sets the fastest lap at 1:22.9.
Very good. Well done.
Well,
on brand new super soft tyres.
Brand new super soft tyres, and a much lesser fuel load. But Martin Pardakuber setting the fastest lap. Oh, dearie me! Nearly goes into the back AI. Of Bogart's AI there. Very, very close. Yeah. But he's charging through. At least he's showing that he's willing. That's for sure. Look at that, back of the field, and he's still setting the fast. That is a never give up attitude, I have to say.
Yeah, absolutely. Seems he's found his mojo on this track, Pardakuber. I said earlier on he looked like he was struggling, but I think he's nailed it now.
He's definitely nailed it now. He's just wishing to himself he'd done it 52 laps earlier.
Meanwhile, his teammate though still looking like he's going to be winning this race.
Well, I've got to say, Damie Hartman looking strong on his penultimate lap now as he comes out of Lesmo down towards Ascari, and he has done a great race though. It has to be said, he has done really well.
Yeah, that start off the his launch off the line, that was largely responsible for where he is at the moment. Started P5 and went up to P3 by the end of the first chicane.
Yeah, I mean, it was a fantastic start. He was right in the mix of it there. He did start, as we know, obviously in P5, but what a fantastic job he's done. He really has. He charged through right from the start. It's right, I'm going to get there. I'm going to get the points. And this is the perfect scenario for Damie Hartman, because there's no points for Seb Bogart.
Yeah.
Or Baz de Bree.
And that is,
as well.
it's a
I mean, that's the other one, because Baz de Bree was closing in on him. Let's not forget.
That's right, third in the championship. And no points for either of the two the two winners of last season.
Really, yeah. I mean,
absolutely.
He's now going to be 35 points ahead of Baz de Bree, and would have closed down the gap to Seb Bogart. 14 points, as you said.
Yeah,
earlier.
14, wasn't it? Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, Sander Hermans is retired. It was currently P12.
Oh no, so Sander Hermans is out. What a shame. But Damie Hartman
lap to go.
Is now on his final turn here for this Italian Grand Prix as he comes round Parabolica. Gotta say, fantastic, really fantastic job from him. Really was.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. And what a track to do it at as well. Monza in the Ferrari.
There he is. He takes the win. Nicky Visser comes in second. John Donkel will come in third. Boy Williamson fourth. Rob Mouldering fifth for Sauber. Guido Ershine, well, he's battling at the moment with that AI of Seb Bogart. Oh no, it's not. It's Marcel Dronig. Sorry. So it's Marcel Dronig. He's just taken sixth place from Marcel Dronig. Can he take it to the end? Guido Ershine, Marcel Dronig is trying to fight back, isn't he?
He is. Oh, we've just seen another retirement.
Oh, and he's going to make it. Is he
going to make it?
Oh no, he's got points. Dronig gets ahead of him, takes P6. Ershine takes 7. Phillips takes 8. Stappers takes 9. Hans van der Berg, I think, will take 10. So the final points run of Marcel France will be finishing 11th, and Martin Pardakuber sadly finishing 12th. But what a fantastic race there from Damie Hartman.
Yeah, brilliant, really brilliant. Just as I always say, yeah, just did everything right.
Yeah, but let's not forget Rob Moldrink as well, because he came through majorly there. But a fantastic result for Damie Hartman from 5th to 1st. He's going to be happy with that. 2nd place going to Nicky Visser for Mercedes, valuable points for him, and John Donkel for Renault coming in 3rd. Much needed points for them as his teammate Baz de Breen was out as well, DNFing there. So that is the conclusion of this Italian Grand Prix, and we're just having a discussion here on driver of the day. And you know, Damie certainly did a fantastic job, but I've got to say, and he's no penalties as well. It's got to go to Damie, definitely. I was looking at Rob Moldering. We were deciding on driver of the day. I think Rob put in a fantastic show there. Definitely from 17th down to 5th. There's no two ways about it. But incurred a few penalty points on. But Damie Hartman, clean slate, and goes from 5th to 4th. Yeah, that's a good result. Driver of the day, Damie Hartman.
Yeah, no, yeah, fair play thoroughly deserved. I mean, I was even thinking of possibly giving it to Nicky for that that drive at the
that was a fantastic
10, 12,
drive
12
from
laps.
Nicky. Yeah, has to be said. That was those
Some
final
brilliant,
closing laps. Absolutely phenomenal drive from Nicky. Really, really was. That yeah, it was a tough one to call for this one. Definitely, a few surprises there with Bogart, etc., going out, but and Baz de Breen. But say Damie Hartman, he's going to be very happy with that for his championship. 14 points off the back of Bogart now, and a clear 35 points between him and Baz de Breen from that 3rd place. So, yeah, good show. And next week, you can see it there. We're in Singapore.
Oh, indeed. The tyre temperatures will be absolutely through the roof.
it will be, and that is an exciting race, definitely. I mean, quite the opposite, really, of Monza in a lot of respects. In fact, you couldn't get more opposite, I think.
Yeah, that's right. It's still a very fast circuit. Yeah, but obviously a night race, and very high ambient temperatures, high track temperatures, and high tyre degradations.
Yeah, it's definitely one to watch. One of the most difficult street tracks and a night race as well. So make sure you join us next week. We will be in a different place, Singapore, as we say, but we'll be here at the same time Thursday night, 7:30 UK time, 8:30 Central European time. We'll see you next week. It's a good night from me.
Good night from me.
Night.